Hey everybody, this is Alexander Dimitrov from gaspo.com, and today I'll show you how to create object-oriented functions.php file for WordPress. So I'll just write functions.php file without saving or testing with WordPress, just because you're not gonna see some big differences, but you will have the required functionality that WordPress wants. So start with opening the PHP tags and write our functions, which will be wrapped in class that will be called over here. Okay. We call it this way so we can use it. Function. Yeah. Functions. Yes, function. Okay, we call it so it's registered for WordPress, and the system, the CMS, can see it. We need to create object. That's the object. So first we start with our constructor. For more about object-oriented PHP, you can search in many tutorials in the web. Public, that's all WordPress can see it. I think all of the functions we will write today must be public, so we can call it, unless you make something like framework. Okay, it's not gonna be so complex. It's just for better reading. I don't say it's the best way to do it, because you don't have different functionality. You maybe have different speed because you don't have to write every time if function exists. You will wrap it all in one class, and you're not gonna worry about the same functions with this name. Also, okay, function construct. So oops, sorry. Yeah. Here we will run the theme setup. That's gonna be the first function, the only thing we will do. So now we will call our main setup function. This and this is the object of this function. Again, check out the object-oriented PHP about more about this. And here we call the theme setup, which is not yet written. We will have to write it down here. And here we will write our little block of code about what this function does. You can use things like that. I mean, it's a block code about PHP that documents your functions. And I'm sorry about the loud keyboard. So we create this function, theme setup, and over here we write the main functionality that the WordPress theme must have to be able to be from you to be submitted in WordPress.org. More about these functions we write here you can see in the WordPress codex, and more of it in here, theme features, and all of this is a must when you develop your theme. Well, maybe not headers, but most of them are supposed to be there. Okay, so now first we will add the custom background. Add theme support. It's kinda hard to write when you talk. Support theme, no, custom background. background, and here we will say the callback function. If you were developing your functions.php file without using classes, you could just write your function name here, func. But because we use classes, we have to specify the object, and we'll give two arguments, array with two things there. First is the object, and currently is this object, this function, and then we say the function we will use. And no, actually, I'm sorry, here we don't use any functions. We use, here it's the standard definition, where we have default image, the default image that will be used for a background, and you can specify your default image or leave it blank or just remove anything. But for now I will show you an example how to use the default image. We will get a template directory. Oops. URI. So yeah, and add the path to the file. For example, I just thought of something that's not actually existing, and we'll use this default image over here and write default image and the image, the path to the image. So default background image, or here. What's next? Custom feed links. That's another required thing for your theme. That's it, and you just add it here. Theme support. That's some things you have to do every time, so you can make your blank file, save it, and when you start working on a new theme, you already have them and you can use them. You can also extend using the class functionality, and it's actually kinda easier to work than the normal function way, and you don't write every time if function exists. So this is the feed support. Okay, what's next? Post formats, post thumbnails. Okay, let's go with post formats. What you have to write here is using a theme, post formats, array, assign. So what you do? Adding post formats functionality. This is also required, and you have at least have it and style it if possible, or in best case use this different post types as names. How to do it, you can see it in the codex or check it right here. Support. Oh, and just know, it's a good way to write your functions when you have two empty spaces between and after, before and after the brackets. It's just what WordPress wants from you. Post formats, and here you give an array of all the post formats. Site, image, link, and so on. I won't write them all, you can see them right over here, and what each other means. Just like, well, that's it. Let's say a site without title. So when you create your file about a site post format, you will won't show your title there. Next thing is post thumbnails. Theme support post thumbnails. This will be maybe the last one I will show you. Theme support post thumbnails. very good practice is when you use different sizes for your post thumbnails to create instance of them, copies with a smaller size, so you make your site load faster, because you don't want to show image in the area of 50 by 50 pixels and that image to be like 5 megabytes big. Okay, so how to do that? Just add the image size you want. Add size, and here you rename your thumbnail about that size, so you can call it home page thumbnail, for example. And here you specify the X, Y, and crop data. So for example, it will be wide 1500 pixels, 500 pixels, and high just random, and here you say true. So will we crop it? Yes. What will be the high? What will be the Y? So I will write the next one, so you don't have to watch everything. Okay, here is the rest information. Add theme support custom header, so you can have different images for the home page header, which is also not required, but well, you should use that unless your theme is, well, just make sure you have it, make sure you can show it, you can show some image, and leave your users decide if they want it, because you may maybe make your theme beautiful, but you don't know what your users want. Usually they don't want the most beautiful theme. Add editor style. So this is about the editor in WordPress. When you go to the dashboard and you write something, for example, new post. For example, you will write new post, and there you have your editor. With this CSS you can style how the text in the editor will look, and for best practices is to set the editor dash style.css quite the same as your entries, so the user can, when writing his post, can see in the editor how it will look on the site. Here, theme localization, just to be able to translate your theme. And the content width. This is how is the content width, not the page width, not the sidebar and the content, just the text. Only and only the text. For example, I put 900 pixels, you can set, for example, 600, which is maybe more often seen. Now, so, sorry I had to stop for a second. Yeah, what we do next? We will add actions, different actions you can use in your functions.php file. First, how we start? Again, adding just the same thing as stop. This add actions. Oops, again I hit save. So adding different actions, blah blah blah. Public function add actions. And what different actions we can add? We can add widgets or sidebar, register sidebar, add action. And here what we said what will be the action and when we will add it. We must add it when we initialize the widgets. So widgets init. Yeah, and what will be the functions, and oops. So as I said, we give the callback function, and the normal way would be to write the function here, as I explained it before, but now we have to say in which class we can find this function, and this function can be found in this class. And so when we are here, we can call it by its object, which is this. So we give an array with two parameters. First is the object, this, and then is the function. And this function we can call it register sidebar. Yeah. Oops, again, sorry. So now what else we can add here? We can add menu. So to say, it's just the same thing, register menu, and we only have to give different hook init, which is the WordPress init, initialization, and the function is different, register menus. Okay, oh sorry. What else? We can give different page title to the theme. And now we won't using, yeah, I'll just write some divider. We won't use this add action function. We'll use add filter. You can see about the difference between them or in the codex. Add filter, and the syntax is pretty much the same, so I'll just copy it. We give the hook, which is WordPress. Most easy for now to see the differences. We add this when we work with the theme to add functionality to the theme, and we use this when we add content in the page. So we add the WordPress title, and right now we will overwrite, so to say, what this function we will show. We just override it, changed without touching the core. And here is the title. No, page title. Oops, again. Just use to hit Control save every time. This is the title. Yeah, in here. What else? Except this is something many people search how to edit and how to create, so you just write now add filter and where, except pretty easy and straightforward. Array, same thing every time. This object and the X. Sorry, it's kind of hard to write and type at the same time. Custom excerpt length. Oh, yeah. What else? We can add. Actually, it's time to load scripts and styles and everything. How to include and queue different styles and scripts. Again, we do it here. Custom. Oops. Oh, yeah. Styles and scripts. What we do? Again, add action. Where? WordPress.n. Let me see if I write it correctly. That must be it. Array, just the same thing every time. You don't do anything different. This and the function. Load scripts. What we did here, we add some functions that are not yet written. We have to write them down. And we have two options, of course. We can write them in this class, functions, or we can write them in another class. But if we write them in another class, we have to specify this class over here. But for now, let's use this class, make it more simple. First function, dot scripts, public function, public function dot scripts. And what we do here, we can add our different scripts. First, we can add the main style sheet for the theme from here or from the header.php. And this is like 50-50 because usually WordPress says that you should add your style sheet in the header. You should add your style sheet in the header, or we can add it here. I think there's no big difference. Just now we have everything in one place. So, how to register style? Main style sheet. WordPress register style. Pretty normal. What's the hook? Not the hook, the ID of our style. This is something you can specify by your own, so you can call it when you enqueue the script. We are now just registered. Okay. Get template. Now we'll give the path. Directory. Get template. The path to the file, to the root of the theme, and then we go to style CSS, our main file. That way you register all the custom CSS files you want in your header. And usually when you call this one first, and then you have another, you call it second, and you have another, you call it third. That's the way they will be arranged in your header.php file. So how to enqueue it? Again, WordPress enqueue style. It's the same with scripts, just you write different letter. And so we enqueue the script. What we did here is we registered it, but we don't put it in the header. We set it in the we just set up this, and in here we enqueue it. So without this you don't have your style, and this can be used like a switch to turn them on and off. And for example, we'll put another, let's say jQuery, but instead downloading jQuery from somewhere or giving a link, you can use the built-in WordPress jQuery library. Include jQuery, and we are not going to register this one because it's already in WordPress core. We are just going to enqueue it. Script, this time script, not style. As I told you, it's pretty much the same. And write what you want. You have, like, I don't remember, maybe 30 different libraries you can include from the core from WordPress. And let's say we'll have custom jQuery, so we can copy this. Not custom jQuery, custom script, and just change this to script. Change the ID, so maybe main, and change the file. And only let's change the main JavaScript functionality. Okay, it's just absolutely the same with every different thing. If you want different JavaScript file, you write this. If you want different CSS, you write this. So we done that. What else? Register menus, sidebar. Okay, let's register the menus. Public function register menus. How? It's pretty the same thing as you would do in every different WordPress theme. Register main menu. Register nav menus. That's the function you will search. You can find it in the codex, of course. Register nav menus. Oops, sorry. That's not the way it works. What we give here? We give an array. You can set up this array as a variable right here, like that, and call it here. But because we are not using so many different arguments, so many elements in the array, we can just use the regular way to do it. Make right array and add the content of the array. What's the name? Which is this menu? So you can call it when you want it. That's the ID, primary. And how you can call it? That's how the user will see it on the screen, on the dashboard. Main menu and the theme domain. Let's say, yeah, gospel. Primary. That's the menu. Let's register the footer menu, for example. Footer menu. How is this? Footer. How the user will see it? Footer menu. And that's it. Oops. That's how you register your menus. Nothing different. Of course, you can see about more options you can write here from the codex. Now, how to how to register our sidebars? Register sidebar. Function. Public function. Register sidebar. The functions we need. Register sidebar. What else? Of course. And see, we have the same function over here and over here. But why we don't have problem? Because of the class. Because if we wanted to call this function and not this one, we'd have to write, for example, this class and its function. But of course we are not doing this when we are calling the WordPress function over here. And let me write just, for example, the content, example content for the theme. What else? The page title, public static this time. Page title static because you can call it from the theme. You can write functions page title. Otherwise, if you didn't have this static, you can't call it that way. Just in case you need it somewhere. I don't know. What we have here, I'm just gonna copy paste it. What we have here, global page, just some content, you can read it yourself. I can explain. Okay, is it fitted? Is this a fit? If yes, then just return the title of the page. It's like a global variable. No, I'm sorry, that's not a global variable. We have the two parameters here and the separator, which by default, let's say it's dash. So title, what's the title? Site description, when we want something like my site, awesome site. That's your description, that's your title, we get it here. That's the final content we will show in the title. Get the title itself and the name of the blog, so this one here. If it's empty, I mean if there's no blog description and some more things you can see here, the description is empty. I mean you don't see nothing over there. Else, I mean that's else, and that's ternary ternary operators or something like that, sorry. And then if that's a page, which page is it? Yeah, you see here. Oops. You can see it more clearly how it works. Okay. Just read it carefully so you know how it works. It's really simple. Do we need anything else? Yeah, outer link, I think it was. Or no, actually we don't never put it. So let me write an example function of how to call the link of your author, of the author of the post. Public static, again static because we can call it that way. I mean, we can call it inside the loop, for example. Otherwise, you cannot access it. Author, let's say, call it the author. No, actually, in the WordPress way, yeah, the author. What we have here? We get a link for the author, so you can click on it. Get author. Oops. Posts URL. And what we need here? Get the author meta ID. And the cool thing is that we call this function inside the loop. So we have this ID. We can have this information. And finally put on the screen the content. And that's gonna be a link. href. What's the link? Let's make it that way. Maybe not the best way, I'm sorry, but it's something. And link in the author itself. 1 second, because maybe I lost myself. Yeah, yeah, that's not the best way to do it. I mean, this over here, it's kind of messy. I hope it's should be working perfectly. And close the href, the anchor. And that's it. Pretty much what we wanted to get. Yeah, and excerpt length, which is also a function we will call from inside WordPress. Static function inside the theme. Let's end. Just I want to see how I wrote it. Yeah. Excerpt length. And of course, what's the length we want? Or maybe that's not really important, but just have it there. You can modify this better. And that's the default value. Yeah, hard-coded because we don't change it anyway. That's the number of words. That's not characters, but words. What if you wanna have another file? What if you want to import another class? That's pretty much the same way you would do it before. Just include that file here. Include, for example, yeah, that's the name of the class. I mean the file. It's a class. That's not required. You can have it that way, but it's easy to read. And of course PHP. Now, like that, you can call it. Of course, you can extend it like that, or extend anything else, so you have more functionality like a framework. Or you can call this one like that, like that. Also, the cool thing is that when you're, for example, in header.php and you want to call something from this class, call, then what you do, you just write call my func, and that's it, nothing more. you can do the same thing with functions. Of course, you can write your object. Oops, that's totally wrong. Like that way, just like we did here. So I think that's that. 35 minutes and we have our main functions file. It's super easy to work on it, to add more, because it's pretty organized. What we have: the theme setup with all the main features that your theme must support. You can add more, of course, if you find some. And we call that from the constructor, and that's the first function that we called when we create our object. Of course, remember, we created once. We call the theme setup. Then, after we call the theme setup, we call the actions. So we have more functionality to the theme. Add actions, and as I said before, you can have the same name. You see, add actions, add action. You can write it like that. It will work again because you are not calling this object, or else you would say self. So you call the same object. No, you are calling the WordPress core. Add filter, load scripts. We separate everything in different functions, so it's easy to extend. Then, of course, it comes the small functions that register different type of content. Register menus, sidebar, and all the things you need. And I think that's that. Hopefully I will make something more about adding different functionality for your theme, or working on the header and using this content. For example, you want another sidebar. What you do? Just copy paste and change, and that's that. You have new sidebar. Everything is perfect. Yeah. Adding more filters, copy paste, add more scripts. No, I mean, that's your script files, and they are all located in one script function. So just comment that, and you have no scripts anymore, and everything is in one place and easy to read. You just see it's everything pretty good looking. So if you want to see how I wrote my other functions.php file from pure void theme, you can see it here. It's pretty much what we wrote here right now. Mainly the same functionality. I took a lot of it with all the commentaries, so when you see it you can understand it pretty well, understand how this works, see what functions it uses. Just a pretty neat way to commentate and organize your functions.php file. So okay, bye.